Well, it is 4 o'clock and we're discussing our strategy for tonight. On principle, I booked 2 dinners. I'm very bothered, upset, and not happy with the dining package, which it turns out has been my takeaway every time I've bought the ultimate dining package. The last time we did was on the Allure, and they assigned us to like the steakhouse the first night and then interfered with our teppanyaki.
Okay, if we had the second you had to make reservations.
No, we wouldn't have been.
Really?
Because our boarding day would have been screwed up because we'd have to be running to restaurants to make reservations, which is why are you booking ahead of time, giving them your money 3 months before the cruise to give you unlimited dining, and then you still have to run to the venues and make reservations as soon as you get on board? It's not a good system. You need to be able to use the app, book your reservations just like you would if you were paying full price prior to embarkation. Putting customers who are buying specialty meals like the Taste of Royal and the sushi and sake tasting ahead of the people that bought the unlimited package is not okay. I love Royal Caribbean and I think they do a really good job on almost every aspect of cruising, but I'm never going to be afraid to tell my audience or my videos things that need improvement, and this is the biggest room for improvement in my experience with Royal right now, aside from the drink package pricing, which we just don't buy into that, so I don't need to go on ranting about it because we found ways around it, like our little $3.75s or bottles of wine. $101 a day plus a $20 or a 20% tip on top of that for alcohol per day. I don't know anybody that could drink enough to justify that price. And I don't believe that charging $15 a drink so that you think 5 drinks justifies it is the right way to do that math. No day in my life have I ever consumed $100 worth of alcohol. Even at Cosmo in Vegas, we had several drinks a day and they weren't charging this much. Anyway, I said I don't need to rant about it and then started. But the ultimate dining package, you can get a very good value out of it if you watch the cruise planner and buy it when they do we got 40% off on one of our upcoming cruises for it. Just watch for a discount, but book it knowing that the promise that you can eat there for lunches is a lie. It's a lie. We tried to book lunches and there wasn't a single lunch available for us. Back to the point, we have 2 dinners booked tonight. We have one at 5:30 and we have one at 9, mainly because our only thing that we had a real plan for coming onto the ship was that we wanted to eat at Izumi twice. And we were hoping that would mean the first and the third night for dinner. And then we weren't able to get it. So I said, okay, we'll do it last night and we'll do a lunch. Well, we showed up for lunch. No, sorry. So since they had an opening at 9 tonight, I booked it. I'm going to take that reservation. We're going to show up. Even if all we have is miso soup, we're there. But we're going to Chops, and since we know we have more food coming later, we're not going to have like a very heavy meal, except every time that we've eaten at Chops so far, we've had asparagus and the cream spinach as our sides. And I think I'm going to order the mac and cheese tonight just to see how that comes out. And I'll probably do the shrimp instead of a steak for my entree. We had the lobster bisque the other night, and I don't know if I talked about that afterward. The lobster, I don't believe it was lobster in my soup, first of all, but there were only 2 chunks of it, so not much to complain about. And then the soup,
it probably was real lobster, because if it was artificial lobster, it would have tasted more like lobster.
Well, yeah, it didn't taste like lobster. It was also it was almost crunchy.
It didn't taste like, it was just
not good. Like, if you're going there, maybe they changed the recipe, maybe we had a fluke.
No, I think we had a bad thing.
It was very brown and it had a weird, not smoky, but close to smoky flavor. It just was not good. And even this couple sat down next to us as we were about to leave and they said, what'd you have? And what would you recommend? And one of the first things we said is not the lobster bisque. So we're not eating that tonight. And we did have the jumbo shrimp cocktail. When they say jumbo shrimp, those were colossal. They were crazy huge, but I'm not going to order that tonight because I will have it be my entree. Spicy version. We'll talk to John later about what he thinks between the 2 ships, because I have been on several royal ships now, and I can pull from experiences from a lot of different trips. But just looking at the two, I personally liked the ship a little bit more on Grandeur, especially Izumi. We took home our sushi last night because we were next to just an unbelievable, like, someone could have jumped out and said we were being punked, and I would believe them by the end of last night.
Rice volcano.
We had a couple with their 2 and 4-year-olds next to us, and
I should draw them a picture.
John probably should draw a picture because I didn't see.
Go ahead and describe it, and I'll draw it while they're hearing your description.
Well, I didn't see what was going on. I just heard this Izumi has bench seating on one side and a chair on the other, and the waiter pulls them over right next to us, which was unnecessary to begin with because the restaurant wasn't full, and it was like the main dining room where they put a bunch of people like as close together as we are on benches that aren't part of the same party. And in a specialty restaurant, I just think don't do that. We're paying specifically not to be sardines. But on top of that, we are a couple. We don't have kids with us. We are sitting there dressed up for dinner, and you're going to sit a 2 and a 4-year-old next to us. Anyway, the mom says, when the waiter asks, do you want the bench or the chair? I'm on the bench at our seat. And she looks at her older daughter and says, well, we're ladies, so we're going to sit on the chairs and the men will sit on the bench. Which to me was like this, like, judgmental because I'm on the bench. So I already just did not like her. Then, specialty restaurant, buffets right there, cafe promenades right there. You could choose any kind of thing without disturbing everybody else. But can we order 2 sides of white rice and a side of an avocado and some steamed vegetables? And the waiter's like, vegetables? We have like tempura. No, just like grilled or steamed vegetables. That's all. Yeah. Completely off menu. You're not ordering off of this. Anyway, they bring out the rice.
And avocado.
Yeah, a side of avocado.
We'd like avocado.
Apparently the little kid, the 2-year-old with the rice bowl, was turning it into a volcano. John said like this circle kept expanding around them as it flung its grains of rice everywhere. And the dad, even as oblivious as he seemed to what was going on with his own family, started scooting the rice back in toward the center of the volcano so that it would not flow off the table. And
chair that was on this bench.
It was on the bench?
Yes. That's why you couldn't see it. It was all over the table, but it was also all over the bench. It was where the
I know was. I ranted before bed last night. I don't need to reinforce my thoughts about it, but I mean, what are you doing bringing a 2 and a 4-year-old to a specialty dining restaurant at the peak of dinner? They have a kids club for a reason. Put them there for 2 hours and come have a nice dinner. Otherwise, they should not be seating people like that with people like us. And I don't even think that's wrong to say because we are paying a premium price to have a nice meal, and we ended up packing up our food and leaving rather than sitting next to them. Anyway, we got our food to go, and so when I unpacked it, it had chopsticks inside that said Izumi Express. And for a moment, I was like, oh, this makes sense. The menu was smaller, more limited. The venue didn't have as good of seating as Grandeur did, so it must be an express version of this restaurant. But I'm pretty sure that's just what they put on the chopsticks for the to-go food. It's like express because they're delivering it to your room. I think they should change the name of the one here to Izumi Express. It would justify a lot of the experience, even though the price could still be the same. Like, we just came in with really, really high expectations for Izumi based on our experience on the Grandeur, from the view to the service to the atmosphere and everything. And not a single aspect of it, in my opinion, lived up to what we wanted. Our waitress gave us a large hot sake and didn't charge us for it. I believe it was a mistake. John thinks that she was feeling bad about the situation at the table and intentionally did not charge us. Either way, it's just kind of a letdown because Izumi was specifically the restaurant that we enjoyed so much that we were like, let's buy the package for Valentine's Day, I'm not sure that we should do the package for that.
I think we should do the dining package. I think we ought to specify it. We got to talk to them ahead of time and say, listen, here's the problem. We're happy to buy the dining package, except...
Who do you think that we can talk to?
Sales.
We are 2 people on a ship of 3,800 passengers in a company that has 27 ships, and this is one of the smallest ones. Our personal preference of where we're seated for a specialty meal is irrelevant.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the availability is the problem, though. They need to not, if they're going to do lunch, C-day lunches, they need to not have events.
Well, that's the other thing. Where are we supposed to give our feedback about this other than here on my channel? Like, if we do a survey after eating in Izumi, Royal Caribbean makes the waiters feel like this is a representation of their service directly,
right.
Not our thoughts about how this whole thing is organized, whether we were upset about something else in the restaurant. If we give less than a perfect score on our meal experience, that is pushed on to the waiter. And our waiter did nothing wrong. In fact, she tried everything she could to make it a good experience. Mm-hmm. So, you know, how are we supposed to give effective feedback without punishing her for things that are out of her control? Anyway, rant is over. We're going to go either win a bunch of money or lose $100 more before dinner. And we'll show you our first dinner and then our, what did we call it? We had an abbreviation for the late dinner.
Oh, post-dinner dinner?
Yeah, PDD, post-dinner dinner.